The cuisine of the indigenous Assyrian people from northern Iraq, northeastern Syria, northwestern Iran and southeastern Turkey is similar to other Middle Eastern cuisines. It is rich in grains, meat, tomato, and potato. Rice is usually served with every meal, accompanied by a stew which is typically poured over the rice. Tea is typically consumed at all times of the day with or without meals, alone or as a social drink. Cheese, crackers, biscuits, baklava, or other snacks are often served alongside the tea as appetizers. Dietary restrictions may apply during Lent, in which certain types of foods may not be consumed, often meaning animal-derived. Alcohol is rather popular, specifically in the form of arak and wheat beer. Unlike in Jewish cuisine and Islamic cuisines in the region, pork is allowed, but it is not widely consumed because of restrictions upon availability imposed by the Muslim majority. Most of the time, the preparation of meals by the Assyrian diaspora reflects the region in which the individual ancestors are from. The foods consist of similar ingredients, however, the manner in which they are prepared slightly varies from region to region. Furthermore, individuals tend to combine the authentic Assyrian meals with the ethnic meals of the particular region. Breakfast. Tea is almost always drunk in the morning with Assyrian breakfast. Assyrian tea is drunk with sugar and evaporated milk as opposed to regular milk or cream. Common breakfasts include fried eggs and tomatoes seasoned with various spices, and scrambled eggs mixed with vegetables. Soft-boiled eggs are often made when members of the household are sick, as many believe it to be very healthy. Harissa, a traditional Assyrian porridge made of chicken, wheat, and a generous amount of butter, usually made during Christmas, is also eaten as a breakfast by some because it is perceived as a heavy and nutritious meal. Homemade yogurt called masta can be eaten plain with bread, or mixed with cucumbers, garlic, salt, mint, and olive oil called jaja. Assorted cheeses and samoon are also quite popular. Baklava, kelicha, and kada may also be eaten during breakfast time. Gema is a rich cream that is consumed with honey or date syrup on samoon. During Lent, meat and dairy products are frowned upon for religious reasons, and many Assyrians typically fry a mixture of diced tomatoes, onions, potatoes, and green peppers with a generous amount of olive oil, adding to it spices such as curry, red pepper, paprika, salt, and pepper. This is generally eaten with samoon, lawasha or pita bread. Lenten breakfasts also include tahini mixed with fig date syrup called napukta, which is again eaten with the breads mentioned previously. Halawa, which is a sesame paste mixed with pistachios, is also popular during Lent. Appetizers. Assyrian maza is similar to related cuisines mezes, which may include hummus, barbaganao, tapala, fatoush, vegetables and dip, burek, etc. Fava beans, known as bakil, and chickpeas, known as hemza main, are very common in soups, salads, and find their way into many foods. Fried almonds and raisins are also used, but not as appetizers but rather as garnishes for main dishes. Potato chap is deep-fried mashed potatoes stuffed with ground beef, parsley, and onion. Kubba, made with ground beef and an outer shell of ground wheat, is flattened and then fried or oven-baked, is another maza favorite. It is often eaten with ketchup or steak sauce. Another popular maza is turshi, which literally means pickled. Many different types of vegetables are pickled, such as cucumbers, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, beets, and peppers. As an Assyrian American, I can confidently say that hummus, barbaganush, tabbouleh, fatoush not of Syrian foods. They are the foods that the Arab peoples of the Middle East eat. Kubba, which we call kipti, is an Assyrian food. It is very true that the Assyrian diet is influenced by the food of the particular region in which people live, but nonetheless, Assyrians have our own foods distinct from the area where we live. Turkey is a pickled vegetable which is Assyrian. In the U.S., the influence of the U.S. diet is seen by many people adding sugar to the pickling, whereas Assyrians from the Middle East do not add sugar. Dolma grape leaves. Cabbage is definitely an Assyrian food. Probably, it is the U.S. Assyrians who are the least influenced by the food in the U.S., probably because the U.S. diet and the Assyrian foods are so distinctly different. Risha shikal, pork soup, is another Assyrian dish, although due to being pork, is not that common. The dill rice with lima beans is purely Persian, whereas the Assyrian rice is baked with pure butter. Assyrians have a distinct kuddush stew made of green beans and red meat. Growing up in the U.S., our stew, as was our dolma, was made with lamb, and eventually through the years, it was made with beef because of the availability of beef and the less available lamb. Harissa is the Assyrian holiday food made with a whole chicken and pira. These would be the pure Assyrian foods. Lunch and dinner. There is no difference to lunch and dinner to Assyrians as there are with some other cultures. They are referred to as kawitra karamsha, or urata whsamta. Lunch and dinner typically consist of basmati rice, which can be prepared either plain, red, yellow, or plain with fried miniature noodles called sharia. In place of rice, gurga can be prepared in the same way as rice. Beef and chicken kebab, grilled on skewers or a spit, are also commonly eaten at mealtime. Biryani is an Assyrian rice dish with sharia made of green peas, fried cubed potatoes, almonds, raisins, sliced hard-boiled eggs, and chicken. Reza smukar is often made with chicken meat. Rice is usually accompanied with a stew called shorwa, with a broth basis on a main vegetable ingredient. Beef, chicken, or oxtails can be added according to taste and availability. During Lent, meat is omitted for religious reasons. A traditional Assyrian salad is cubed tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and red onions made with a homemade dressing of lemon, vinegar, salt, pepper, and olive oil. Other various types of Assyrian special dishes include the loka, kofta, kubu hamath, tikwa, dushala, pachar, gurdo, tashrib, harissa. Other traditional Assyrian specialities include tepsi, shamakshi, dolma, masguf, lamakin. Because Assyrians are a minority in all regions they traditionally dwell in too, the local cuisine also contains elements of neighboring societies and ethnic groups. The majority of Iraqi cuisine is incorporated into Iraqi Assyrian cuisine, and the same is the case for Assyrians of Iran, Syria, or Turkey. Falafel with amber, for example, is very popular amongst Assyrians and are especially common during Lent and other holidays requiring dietary restrictions that call for abstinence from animal-derived products and foods. Desserts, snacks, and beverages. There are several different types of dessert which include baklava, kulika, different types of cakes and cookies, kada, nazuki, and others. Kada are usually prepared alongside kulasha. A kada looks like a thick yellowish flat bread, though it contains plenty of butter, eggs, and sugar, which renders it a very sweet pastry. Due to the influence from the post-Ottoman occupation of Iraq and Syria by the British and French, many customs were picked up from the colonial administrators. Tea and biscuits are often eaten as snacks. Turkish coffee, which is a holdover from Ottoman times, is often used the same way, though with a twist of fortune-telling called finjan, which is a form of tasseography. When the coffee is consumed, the fortune teller will look at the bottom of the cup and read you your future. Arak is one of the most popular alcoholic beverages. It tastes like black licorice and is clear until mixed with water, which then becomes milky white. Dawa is a popular yogurt drink made with yogurt, water, salt, and sometimes mint. Is consumed during the summer when it is hot. Assyrian rural communities have often traditionally brewed their own organic wheat beer and produced their own wine. pork consumption. Unlike the Muslim or Jewish neighbors of the countries they originated from, Assyrians as Christians may consume pork and drink alcohol. Though pork is not a staple in the diet due to its unavailability in Muslim-dominated lands and is shunned by some, there are holdovers from the Old Testament in which people slaughter animals a certain way and where some animals are considered unclean, such as the aforementioned swine. The story of Jesus casting the demonic legions into pigs that went over the cliff is a popular reason for some Assyrians not to eat pork.